I'm Mark Keogh. I'm your Montgomery County judge. We're out here in East County. As you know, what has taken place last night, last time I was here, we were at 1,200 acres with 10% contained. Now we're at 2,000. We're expecting a lot of activity today, especially as the humidity has dropped, that fires continue to spread. We're going to have wind gusts later on today it could be disastrous. We're asking the people who were evacuated last night to stay still away from their homes. The Forest Service, the law enforcement, our fire departments did such an unbelievable job yesterday in protecting homes, animals, livestock, people. And so we lost basically nothing, which is hard to believe, but we lost basically nothing. And so what we're asking everybody is, this thing is not going away for a while. These winds and these gusts are exacerbating the situation, and it continues to keep moving forward. So we're just going to ask all those people to stay at their houses, or away from their houses, wherever they're staying right now.
Could you talk a little bit about the overnight effort? You said earlier that no structures were damaged. Is that still the case?
Yes, it is. It is still the case. We evacuated approximately 900 homes, and all of those structures, our people were out there, man. They were bulldozing around houses, and it was remarkable. All night long they were out there working.
How many people would you say are fighting this fire right now?
You know, I'm gonna flip that over to my Director of Emergency Management, Jason Millsaps. Jason, go ahead and take it from here.
Yeah, good morning. Between Montgomery County and San Jacinto County fire agencies, there's probably 120 personnel or a little bit more on scene. That was overnight and again today. The Texas Forest Service has about 30 personnel on scene as well fighting, and the U.S. Forest Service will be joining us later today, and they'll probably have a handful of folks as well here with us.
Which agencies actually having the tankers today?
The air tankers are on contract to the state of Texas, and they're coordinated through the Texas Forest Service.
When
do you anticipate any more evacuation orders in different areas?
It is possible as fire weather behavior changes this afternoon. As the judge alluded to, we're expecting the humidity to drop, the winds to pick up, and the temperature to rise a little bit, which is not helpful for fire fighting efforts. And what we saw yesterday was a very fast-moving head on this fire. That's very possible again today. One of the reasons why we want everyone to stay away if they were evacuated yesterday is the fire, we held it back, but it could continue to push forward, and those homes could be threatened, and we don't want anyone back in that area. And if there is additional homes that need to be evacuated, those orders will come out as quickly as we understand the circumstances that require that.
What areas are we talking about? Who probably needs to start preparing for possible evacuation?
So if you're in San Jacinto County, east of Peach Creek, along the Lee Turner Road, you should be evacuated at this time and not at home. If you're west of Peach Creek in Montgomery County, you should be hyper vigilant right now. The fire has not crossed into Montgomery County. We've had just a minor handful of spot fires last night that were in Montgomery County, but the main body of the fire did not cross Peach Creek last night into Montgomery County at this time. But the winds are not in our favor in Montgomery County today, and that is likely to change this afternoon.
When we talk about, the seriousness of this fire, can you stress to people who, I guess, still haven't evacuated, they're just kind of waiting around? What do you say to them?
So yesterday we watched this fire move 1 mile in about 45 minutes. It was very rapidly spreading. So if that was to occur today, you would have very little time to make preparations to leave your home. That's why you should have done that yesterday, but if you haven't, this morning is the best time to do it, because by this afternoon, the behavior of this fire is going to rapidly change.
When you talk about 10% contained, can you talk a little bit more about what that means? Is that a small portion of the acres that burned, or can you explain that a little more?
So containment on a fire is an odd thing to calculate, and so we don't like to really set our number out like that because it is difficult for folks to understand what containment means. It doesn't necessarily mean the fire is contained in 10% of the location. It's just a rudimentary number that the Forest Service assigns to that based on their estimated how much they've gotten around it, either with a fire line break or a dozer line or whatever they're using to stop progression of that fire. The number is actually at 20% now, so we're still at 2,000 acres. We're at 20% contained, so we have seen some improvement in that. That number is likely to rise both in acreage and containment as they put air assets up this morning and get an overview of the fire from what happened overnight. And that's what we're lacking right now, is those air assets getting up here and letting us know from above what they see.
What caused the fire? Do you know yet?
That's still under investigation. It was caused, it started somewhere in San Jacinto County. The San Jacinto County Fire Marshal will be looking into the cause of that fire.
So
Has
we
there been
saw
a
that
call out
there
for
was,
additional
like-
resources?
Yes, we have additional resources. So far, we have not run out of resources in Montgomery County. The fire crews have got enough crew here. We've also got additional task force coming in case we do start seeing structure fires out of this. They'll be close by. And we have additional resources in Montgomery County if things change. But we're also making sure we keep resources throughout the county because we're under a red flag warning, and we could have another fire in another part of Montgomery County or even in surrounding counties that we'll have to respond to. So we don't want to drag everything over here unless necessary, because we'll leave vulnerable areas of the county without protection.
We know these high winds are forecasted. Were you guys prepared for this, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, we've been pushing the message out for several days now, and as these red flag warnings have been popping up. You know, we've chased some small fires in Montgomery County. Montgomery County is very blessed. We have a lot of fire resources and a lot of assets, so we can get on fires quick and keep them from getting large. And even though we're rural in areas and urban in other areas, we still have a lot of assets. And not so much for our neighbors in San Jacinto and Liberty and our smaller counties. They rely a lot on volunteer departments. And so this is not necessarily a lack of resources. This is in an odd location. There's no one around where this fire started yesterday. It was likely burning for several hours before it was noticed by residents in the area. Montgomery County residents even started noticing smoke calling it in, and fire crews were trying to track that fire yesterday and find out where it was at. So it was just in a very rural area. And by the time we get on that fire, it has grown and is now moving too fast for us to get in front of it. So,
Are the circumstances around it suspicious at all? Is it too early to say?
it's too early to say that at this time.
Could you talk about shelters where people can go?
Absolutely. So San Jacinto County has opened one in Cold Springs. It's the San Jacinto County Emergency Shelter. Montgomery County opened one in Splendora at the East Montgomery County Community Center. Overnight, we had 0 residents at both shelters.
What about the
Tell-
livestock shelters?
Good
Do you
to
know
say.
those?
Yeah, we have. The judge was just pointing that out. We have 3. One is at Bull Silas Park in New Caney. We have one at Caney Creek Cowboy Church in Grangerland, and if necessary, the Montgomery County Fairgrounds in Conroe will be used as a livestock staging area. Law enforcement overnight spent an enormous amount of time helping residents with their livestock, chasing cows, getting horses corralled and moved, and so that was a significant effort on their part, and we've handled that very well. We also have additional state assets for livestock coming in today in case we have to move more people out. We'll have more assets to help that very quickly.
Plus, you got Montgomery County Animal Shelter and Animal Control for Montgomery County as well,
Yeah.
which are staged right here, right now, and they're ready to go. And as they evacuate, they're able to pick up the animals.
And Judge, I wanted to talk to you, but
Yeah.
when you look at this situation, do you think to yourself, this could have been so much worse? I mean, nobody was killed. No property damage.
Absolutely. I have to tell you, our emergency management, our law enforcement, Forest Service, they jumped on this so quick, it's unbelievable. And I've got to give so much credit to he's also my chief of staff, but he's also the director of Homeland Security and Emergency Management under me. I have to tell you, they are constantly planning for these kinds of scenarios. We don't want somebody to say, this caught us off guard. That's not in our DNA. So we're always practicing, and I got to tell you, we are ready to move. You know, we've had so many natural disasters. We've learned over the last few years that we've got to be able to move quickly, do it right now, and that's how you save people, lives, and infrastructure.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Appreciate it.
Further questions, guys?
No,
Anything
that's
else you think we
good.
should know? Or
We're good at
viewers?
this time.
When can we
If things
expect
rapidly change, we'll let you know. We could probably put something together this afternoon as the fire weather behavior changes and circumstances change. If it rapidly changes, the best thing for us is we're going to push it out on social media. If you want to share that stuff, it'll get pushed out on the Montgomery County side from the Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security, as well as the county judge's social media. Yeah, and so we cross-share it with each other. Sometimes his is first, sometimes ours is first. It depends on what's going on. And so as that gets done, just share that. If it requires us to go live and to put out an urgent message, I'll come get you guys to do that.
And so it hasn't crossed over to the west side of the country?
That is correct.
Okay.
We've had a little spot fire here and there, but